Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Guys, we have just finished the game against Inter, and there's a lot of mixed feelings, guys. There's a lot of mixed feelings about this game. There are so many of you guys in the chat. Guys, if you are following from the chat and you've been a follower of Napoli Talk for a long time, you might notice that there's a little StreamYard icon on the top right. That is because I am doing this on StreamYard today, because I hope to have Uncle Sharma today in the video, and this is a way for me to invite a guest, which I've not done before, after a live stream. Now, let me know if there's any issues with the stream, because as I said, I'm using a new software. So do comment if there's any issues on that front. Now, guys, a lot of you guys in the chat, and I know it's not popping up on the screen as it usually does. Again, different software. So let me just read out a few of the things. So let's see this comment here from Zen ED. Needed Mertens at 70-minute mark. Yeah, that's true. 100%. We needed Mertens to come on earlier. Parasite Napoli saying Zielinski was nowhere to be seen in the second half. Mertens should have come on way earlier. So a lot of you guys are asking for we're hoping that Mertens would come on earlier. Let's see some more comments. Zenny D is also saying that we missed Chucky today. Would have been better than Elmas, but we got to do what we can. So yeah, I mean, Chucky, I think, would have been an extra element to put on rather than Unas. I thought Unas had a poor game. But yeah, we'll get to all those player ratings later. Anthony Navarro saying looks good. Dom, that's good to know that the stream is working well, even with a new software. Anthony Giampolo is saying, I thought Koulibaly played great, to be honest, but he did have a true mistakes. True, yeah, and that is reflected in the analysis that we'll have of the game. Anthony is saying subs were bad. We can't make a determination about Chucky being in this game. Politano was playing well and got hurt. Elma should have tapped back for Osimhen to put the ball in the net. Hesitation cost us. Yeah, we'll go over that Elmas occasion. But guys, I think, what I really liked today about Napoli was that in the first half, at least, we went out there with intent. We went out there playing our type of football. We got the ball wide, crossed it into Osimhen in a really good way. And then towards the back end of the first half, we started dropping back. We started giving the ball away a lot. And in the second half, Inter hit us in the first minute of that second half. And we found it extremely hard at that point to bounce back from that shock, especially because of, I think, how the goal happened. It was such a crazy goal. And to be honest, Inter didn't have too many chances to score in the second half, but neither but at the end of the day, we had a few, but we never really looked like the same team like we did in the first half, which was a bit of a problem. And I think that's partly down to the subs. I think if Spalletti would have brought on Mertens a lot sooner, that would have given the team a little more time to get used to him in the field, and then maybe we would have pushed on harder in the last 10 minutes. ID Beats is saying, hugely disappointed in Spalletti, turned into Allegri after the first half, and we were so bad in the second half. Where was the ambition? Would rather have lost 1-2 trying to win that. Yeah, I agree totally with ID Beats, except for maybe the last bit, because at the end of the day, it is a draw. We are still 1 point behind Inter. They still have a game in hand, but worst case, that's going to be 4 points. And then, 4 points with 12 or so games to go, that could go in any direction still. That could still go in any direction, even though we saw how Inter are so tough to beat. Loved Lobo today. Was worried he would be subbed out with Zambo, but getting Fabian out was the right choice. Definitely needed subs earlier today. Yeah, Lobotka was, as always, very, very, very good. So we can be proud of Lobotka at this point in time. Anthony Navarro is saying games like these upset me. Like if we were neck and neck first half, I'd agree with this result, but I couldn't be more annoyed at the attitude in the second half. Koulibaly and Lobo top today. Yeah, the fact that we started off the game so well and then dropped off in the second half is definitely a reason why we feel disappointed with this result, even though honestly 1-1 against Inter, you would take that at the start of the season, but because of how it ended up being that we gave the goal away quite cheaply, then you've got to feel a bit upset with that. Let's see some other comments from some maybe new people. Chris F is saying they look like they were playing for a tie by the end. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I don't like that, how we were playing for a tie. It's not really how we want to see Napoli. But guys, just a reminder to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't. We are going to have player ratings, match analysis, all that good stuff in the stream today. So make sure that you are supporting the channel. And if you are watching this when it's not live but after, then do leave a comment anyways, because I will interact with the comments even after the live. So make sure you do leave comments, guys. It also helps out with the algorithm and everything. Maximus1318 is saying, at least we saw Insigne throw up his circle, right? Yeah, Insigne actually did okay today. I liked Insigne's performance today. Parasite Napoli saying Spalletti would be the perfect package if only he knew how and when to make subs. So I actually thought at the start of the season that Spalletti was making subs at exactly the right moment, exactly the right way. From maybe October onwards, he's been a lot more less decisive with his subs. Before, we used to see even make subs in between first and second half, very attacking minded subs. Now he's making subs to try not to lose games rather than going out and winning games. And maybe that's something that we need to work on, or that Spalletti needs to work on. Payman Dadkar, a friend of the channel, is saying, do you agree that we threw it away because of our mentally weakness, or our weak mentality? Maybe we did. Maybe it's something to do with mentality, but I actually think that the way we started the first half shows that mentally things are different compared to previous seasons. I don't remember us ever being so attacking with our intent in the first half of games. Usually we build up, but today we were on it in the first half. And then I think when we did concede that goal, I think we did really, really, really well not to concede further. I think maybe a year or two ago, this Napoli team would have shipped in 2 or 3 goals. And we saw that actually, even at the start of the season, when we played against Inter, we scored first, then we conceded, but then Inter scored 3 goals. So we were at one point losing 3-1 against Inter in the first game of the season. At least now, once we've conceded that 1 goal, we keep it at that. So I think there is a big improvement in Napoli's mentality in over recent weeks. Lewis C is saying, well, a draw isn't so bad. 4 points is not the end of the world. I do agree with Lewis. Long to go still in the season. And, at least we keep it at 4 points. Although big, big little asterisks on this 4 points. If Napoli and Inter are level on points at the end of the season because of Inter's win against Napoli at the start of the season, then they would edge us. So we actually need to recover 5 points on Inter. That's 2 games. We need Inter to basically lose 2 games while we don't. But I think that could be done because Inter still have to play against Juventus, and maybe they'll drop points. You never know. Obviously, we have some tough games as well. We still got to play Milan, but that is at home. But, Inter, I think, they're not... If especially they go through in the Champions League, if they go in the Coppa Italia, they're not invincible. For them to drop a few points here and there is not impossible. So the title hopes are still very much alive. If I had to give a percentage on what we have, I would say Inter 35, Milan 25. And that means that we are on 60. Napoli, I think 25 as well, because I think we'll beat Milan at home, so that makes us 85. And then I still think Juventus have an outside chance, and I'll put them at 15%. You never really know with Juventus how well they'll do with Vlahovic. But yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe not. But I don't want to discard them completely. Blue line in the house saying difficult match. First half chances were wasted. What happened last 10 minutes? No single attack. How to win without attacking? Very bad not to win. Yeah, I mean, we did have more chances than Inter still in the second half, and we'll see it in the analysis. So, guys, why don't we actually start with some of the analysis of the game, and why don't we start by looking at the stats? So you can see here we've got 13 shots by Napoli compared to Inter's 8. Inter only 2 shots on target, whereas Napoli had 4. But possession, pretty even. Inter slightly on top, mainly due to the second half. Pass accuracy, pretty good from both teams. But look at how much more aggressive Inter was. 14 fouls against Napoli 7. I think that's a key point in when we consider how aggressive Inter were and how they really stepped that up in the second half. And that didn't allow us to play the type of football that we want. They kept fouling us, and it was very difficult for us to build any sort of momentum. But yeah, a game which was fairly tight, I think, regardless. And we can see here the table. There's still only 9 points between the top 4. You can't rule any of those teams out, I don't think. There's still so much of the season still to go, and it could be very, very unpredictable from now on. But let's start with the analysis of the game. IDB is saying our performance was like a 1/x graph. And Maximus is saying there is no way this team can afford Koulibaly leaving. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Koulibaly needs to stay. But let's start with the analysis of the game, guys. Immediately from the jump, 3 minutes and 24 seconds into the game, Osimhen gets us a penalty. The ref has a very good visual actually on the contact. There is Barella slightly in the way, but I don't think that there's any sort of obstruction. I still think you can see the clear contact, and as you can see from this slide here, it's very, very clear that Osimhen gets fouled. However, it takes a whole 3.5 minutes from the moment that Osimhen gets fouled to the moment that Insigne takes the penalty. Doveri was trying super hard, I think, in his head to not go and watch the monitor and give out a foul for Napoli, but in the end, VAR told him he had to, and only against Napoli did they have to take 3.5 minutes to decide on whether this is a foul or not. Nicola is saying the winner is AC Milan. Yeah, fully agree with that. And SG is saying, unfortunately, 2 points lost, in my opinion. Yeah, I think overall, 2 points lost, especially with how the first half started. Guys, make sure you are smashing that like button, by the way. It really, really helps out the channel. So I'm just going to put that banner there because it's really important. Insigne scores from the penalty. That's great. Insigne gets another goal for Napoli. It's off a penalty this time. So again, he can't score from open play, but at least this time he scored off the penalty. And then at that point, Napoli was in control of the game. We hit the post with Zielinski. And I really, really like how Napoli played in the first half, how we didn't allow Inter to play. So we can see here that we've got Inter with the ball. Brozovic has it, and Zielinski is really close to him. Insigne is going to go on Skriniar if he receives the ball. Osimhen is on De Vrij. Politano is on Di Marco on the left. Fabian has Çalhanoğlu in his sights, and then Lobotka is extremely, extremely tight with Barella. That's a key point in the game. Barella didn't get much of the ball in the first half because Lobotka was super, super tight on him. Not just 2 or 3 meters, have him in his sight. No, actually properly on Barella, and we didn't allow Inter to play. And actually what this meant was that often it was Lautaro Martinez who had to come into the midfield to receive the ball to help out. And that's what we want. We want Lautaro to come deep because he's not dangerous in that position as opposed to staying further up the field. And we can see here again, all three of Inter's midfielders are properly marked by Napoli's midfield, and we had control of the game at that point. Lobotka, in this case here, he had a bit of a magical moment, him and the ball there. He played a little 1-2 with Insigne, which was beautiful to see, and it just shows how quick Lobotka can turn on himself and how he plays super well with his teammates. 1-2 with Insigne, beats three defenders at that point, or three midfielders at that point, and immediately passes the ball out to Osimhen. And, it really shows how Napoli was on top of Inter in the first half of the game. So let's see some of the comments. And guys, make sure that you are smashing the like button for this analysis. I try to make it as detailed as possible while I'm watching the game. So do show your support. I try to do my best. Obviously, I can't make a full analysis on everything because I am very interested in watching the game as well. And honestly, don't have much time. I go live 2 minutes after the game ends pretty much. So make sure you are smashing that like button and subscribing if you're not. I'm wearing my Sampdoria Quagliarella jersey tomorrow, says Anthony Navarro. That's actually a very good jersey to own. That's one of the Serie A classics, Sampdoria Quagliarella. That's amazing, actually. Maximus1318 is saying, just can't get over what happened today. Yeah, I think we can all be frustrated with how it ended because of how well Napoli was playing in the first half, and we can see it as I'm going through the analysis. Angela Torre saying, ciao Domenico, sono passata per un like, Osi fa paura lì davanti, deve solo imparare a essere più cinico sotto porta. Un abbraccio e forza Napoli, sempre forza Napoli. Angela, sono d'accordo con te. Osimhen deve migliorare, però comunque le occasioni se le crea lui stesso, quindi va bene così. So what Angela is saying is that Osimhen is really, really good. However, he needs to be more cynical up top, and I do agree with that. He needs to, he creates chances for himself, but he then needs to put them away. And we'll see a few of those moments later on in the game. So Insigne had a really good chance here where the ball falls to him. Again, this is a moment where Osimhen is creating something for Napoli. The ball falls to Insigne, and Insigne skies it over the bar. A few moments later, we have Fabian finding Insigne with a really, really good ball. Insigne passes it to Osimhen, and Osimhen, again, finds himself or creates a yard of space for himself, but then with his weaker left foot just doesn't hit the target. Now, again, it's one of those things where he's creating these chances for himself. No one is really putting him through on goal. It's him that has to find that yard for himself. And we'll see it even more clearly in some other moments of the game. I see this comment here from Antonio Tonti. It's time for Napoli to sit Insigne. He's saving himself for Toronto. I don't think Insigne played bad today. I think he had a good game, to be honest. And you know how I'm not a pro Insigne. I don't hate Insigne. I'm not pro Insigne. I try to be unbiased in these things. So we've got also Uncle Sharma in the house. So why don't we add Uncle Sharma to the live? My man, how's it going?
That's the most happy I've been about getting a point in my life, I think.
Yeah. Oh man. So before I continue with this analysis, guys, as much as you guys are loving it, I don't know if you had a chance to follow a bit of what I was saying. What do you think of how Napoli played in the first half?
Oh yeah, you guys dominated us. That was the first time this season that I feel like I'm leaving the pitch. Well, I don't know about the second half, but I felt like that first time where I feel like, wow, we are the inferior team here. Like Napoli, you guys, outplayed us. Lobotka was untouchable. Osimhen was causing all sorts of trouble. De Vrij was fighting for his life. We couldn't get a hold of the ball. You guys had all the chances. You hit the post. Yeah, we just about survived that 1-0. So fair play to you guys and Spalletti, man.
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you ever have a situation where teams pressure you like the way that Napoli did? Because, I don't remember Inter struggling so much to play the ball from the back. Is this something that, for example, Milan did, or do you think this was a unique approach by Napoli?
No, I think a lot of teams, I think especially Serie A now, things have changed. A lot of teams come out and press, like Torino. They did really well against us with their high press. Milan do it as well, but I think you guys did it really well. But at the same time today, I just felt players were very sloppy after that early penalty. It just felt like the heads went a little bit. Like Skriniar was making some sloppy mistakes passing. De Vrij clearly was, he was scared as hell of Osimhen. He was making mistakes. Actually, out of the back three, Di Marco was the one that we were worried about. Di Marco was the best one out of the back three.
DeMarco had a really good game.
Yeah,
I'm just
so
going to interrupt
Brozovic
you
wasn't,
because
controlling. Sorry, yeah, but no, Napoli they did press us really well.
So I'm just going to interrupt you because we had a donation from T. Toleafoa. Thank you for the support. And he says, Scudetto hopes are all but dashed. We need a miracle for Inter to drop 5 points with only Juventus and Roma to do that. Sad times. What's your thought on this? Do you think Inter are now only having to worry about Milan, or do you think Napoli still has a shot at this title race?
No, I mean, if anything, you guys kind of showed that you guys are. I mean, the table obviously doesn't show it right now, but I think in terms of psychologically, I think you showed that you're here. Like this is a full strength Napoli, and this is what a full strength Napoli can do. You can take it to anyone. So I think you're still right there. And Milan plays Sampdoria tomorrow. It's not guaranteed that they're gonna get the win. Sampdoria got the new manager bounce, so you never know. So I don't think you're out of it at all.
Yeah, I would like to hope that as well. I do think that this a full strength Napoli team showed how well they can play. They can cause problems to a team like Inter, but ultimately, Inter as well are show that they are a very good team because even when Napoli said, "All right, we're gonna take the game to Inter, and we're going to stop them from playing with the midfielders." You can see here how we've got man-marked Brozovic, Çalhanoğlu, and Barella. You guys still found a way, and I love this play by Inter because you've got Lautaro Martinez, who's forced to come into the midfield to receive the ball, as I said before, because those three midfielders are marked.
Yeah.
It pushes Ramani out of line, and then all of a sudden you've got Perisic making the run, and Di Marco finds a pass for him. And now all of a sudden you've got a 1v1 of Perisic against Di Lorenzo because Rahmani's pulled out of position. And Perisic one-on-one, that's what he loves to do. If Lautaro didn't make that little step inwards, then Rahmani would have maybe got onto the ball because it was curving inwards towards the box. But it allowed Perisic to get in, and then
you had a lot of trouble with that ball a few times.
Yeah, and Perisic really outplayed Di Lorenzo, and Di Lorenzo, I don't think he's ever got outplayed this season apart from when we played against Inter. So that's 2 games now, and 2 games that he's really struggled against Perisic.
But then when we get into the box, this is the problem. When we get into the box, is like this time Dzeko was in there, but there was another time in the second half where Dumfries was the only one in there. So it's like, Perisic is almost too quick for the rest of the team, and they can't catch up.
That's true. Perisic is you almost don't expect him to get away and to beat his man, but he always seems to do that. He catches even Inter players by surprise, apparently. But in this case, the ball falls right in between Koulibaly and Mario Rui, and Dzeko is there to pounce on that. Obviously, it's a bit of a weak cross, so he can't get enough power onto it, goes to Ospina. But you can see here the difference in height between Dzeko and Mario Rui, and this was something that I was super worried about even before the game. I tweeted about this, and I said, maybe it's worth starting with Juan Jesus, maybe it's worth starting with Gulam. We talked about it in your live stream in the preview, and if this was a better cross, a cross with a more intent, this would have been 1-1 Inter, because Mario Rui is levels behind Dzeko and aerial duels. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Dzeko was getting a lot of abuse on Twitter after halftime for that, that type of, because that should be
really.
his bread and butter. Well, the cross was soft from Perisic, but like you know, you'd expect Dzeko to, as you said, like he Mario Rui is not going to beat him in the air, so he should be able to kind of hey Anthony, they should be able to do a lot better because he's hit it straight at Ospina, but he made up for it in the second half.
I like how. So, guys, thank you for showing love to Uncle Sharma. Honestly, that's what I'm trying to find other content creators that are as cool as Uncle Sharma, but it's hard, guys. It's hard. He's definitely my favorite rival fan. So, yeah,
Oh.
lovely for you to be on the stream. Let's see some other comments, guys. EJ Wise is saying we also have to play AC Milan, Roma, Lazio. Today was definitely a must win. Yeah, I think Inter are going to be happier with this draw than Napoli for sure, because you've already played Milan, which is a huge game. Yeah,
We've played everyone. The only big games we've got left now is Roma and Juventus.
we've got Atalanta, we've got Milan, Roma, Lazio. Well, depending on if you can call Lazio a big team nowadays, but. Blue
Yeah.
Line is saying Insigne played very well, but not Zielinski. I don't know why Osimhen goes to the right rather than center and attacking against the target. So we will cover that as well if we go further on with the analysis. What did you think of Koulibaly, man? Look at
Oh
this
my God,
tackle
this
on
guy was,
Dumfries. He was unreal today, wasn't he?
bro. I thought this guy might be a little bit sluggish, a little bit tired off the Afcon, but no, this is not giving me any hope of, like, I was thinking maybe Mane and Salah might be a bit tired, but if they're in the shape that he's in, I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy, man of the match.
You think? So I think he defensively he was amazing. Great tackles, great interceptions, a very important one in the second half against Dumfries, but I think his passing cost us a bit, and
Yeah.
Inter's goal came from a bad pass from Koulibaly. So, not a perfect display
No, yeah.
overall, but I think it's one of those where, yeah, you can't really blame him. As you said, he's just come back from partying after that Afcon win. So, we'll forgive Koulibaly for a few bad passes. Yeah, I don't know. Doveri today was a bit strange. I think there was some instances where I don't know, some fouls were not given, which I thought were
Yeah.
fouls. Then Insigne got a yellow card for protest on this. I don't know.
I think because he
I'll,
handballed the yellow card, because he took it, he went down looking for the foul. And you know how the guys do, always take the ball afterwards.
yeah,
Yeah.
could be.
But yeah, no, the
Um,
refereeing wasn't. Yeah, I didn't think it was good, because it was some fouls where, like, the penalty. I think, I don't know why they reviewed it for that long. That was just
oh,
clear penalty. The Vrij just. I mean, I talked about it on my channel. He's another time that he's cost us a goal. He's in a bit of a downward trajectory at the moment. But yeah, there was some fouls where, like, Osimhen shoved, like, the right from behind, nothing happened, and there was a few fouls on Osimhen that weren't called. So yeah, the refereeing today was a little bit very hit and miss.
Yeah, that's good to hear that. Also, you agree with that. I did think that was the case. Koulibaly is saying that Koulibaly IDB is saying that Koulibaly said in the post-match interview that we could have done more, and it embodies what the fans
What did you make of the
think.
substitutions? I know maybe you're going to get into it, but, like, I felt like Spalletti kind of almost showed, like, he almost told me that he's going for a draw, the way that he did the substitution.
Yes. He was very wary of putting on Mertens instead of Zielinski, because obviously we would lose defensively compared to Zielinski. But it just showed that he wasn't willing to risk it for the win. Whether that's to some extent, I agree with him, because a win for Inter would have definitely just ended our season.
Yeah.
So at least we fight till another day. The problem is not so much the substitutions. The problem is the attitude that Napoli had in the second half, and how we didn't recover from Inter's goal. Inter recovered from Napoli's goal. Okay, it took you 20 minutes, because in the first half, I think you only started playing well in the last 10 minutes. It took you 20 minutes, but at least you recovered, right? And you then had a really strong 60 minutes, maybe 50 minutes. Napoli never really recovered from Inter's goal.
No.
And it's that killed Napoli's chances. It's not the fact that we didn't make the subs. I think just mentally the players didn't recover.
Yeah, and in the end, like, up until Perisic made that stupid foul on Unas, it was all like we were the one pushing for, like, the last goal, like, long throw
Yeah.
in the corners and stuff, and until that
and
stupid
and you
foul.
put on D'Ambrosios because he's better on in headers than Di
Yeah.
Marco. All these changes aimed at making at scoring a goal.
Hmm.
But let's get into how Inter scored. So we've got a situation here where Mario Rui has the ball, and rather than play it towards Lobotka, which is about to free himself in between the lines, he decides to back pass it towards Koulibaly, putting him under pressure on his weaker left foot, and Koulibaly makes the mistake of not finding the pass for Insigne. I actually think that in this moment in time, Koulibaly should have stepped over the ball and passed it back to Ospina and just played
Yeah.
the ball around a bit more, because Inter were a little exposed on our right hand side here. Instead, he tries a lobbed pass to Insigne, which is always a bit risky because of his height and his left foot. And Inter grab a free throw in, put the ball in the box, and it ricochets like to I
That
don't
was an
know how
awful
many.
header.
I have no idea, honestly, man. Like the amount of the types of goals we concede are very much at least 30% is our doing. Obviously, Dzeko had amazing reactions to pounce on the mistake of Napoli's defense. And to actually beat Ospina there is not easy, because Ospina was very quick off his line to close the angle. But Dzeko, unlike Elmas in the second half, managed to get the ball over the goalkeeper and score. And guys, when we talk about a true number 9, someone that when you need to deliver, he delivers. This is it. This is, Dzeko embodies that. I think, if he's got that half a chance, he'll score. Unfortunately for us, we had a very similar chance with Elmas, but there's a difference between Elmas and Dzeko.
Yeah. Well, I think that Elmas goal would have been chalked off anyway, because it was a Osimhen handball. I think it would have been, if he scored it would have been chalked off.
Possibly. I didn't. Yeah, that's actually very true.
I thought
Let's see
Barella was
some.
crying for like 2 minutes after.
Napoli, Milan, and Inter are tied when the season comes to an end. Who wins Serie A? It depends on the Napoli Milan game. When more than 2 teams are tied in the same position, you have to create a mini table between those 3 teams. So until we know how Napoli play against Milan, then we don't know. So if, for example, if Napoli beats Milan and for some reason those teams end up all in the same points, then Inter would have 3 points from the Napoli game, 1 point here, so that's 4, and 3 points from the first Milan game, so that's 7 points. Napoli would have 1 point here.
We drew the first Milan game.
Oh, you drew, so that's 5 points for you.
Yeah.
Milan would have that point and the win, so that would be 4 points from the derby. But if we win against Milan, the second game that we have, that's 1 point here and 2 wins against Milan, that's 7 points. So Napoli would win the title if the 3 teams are tied on points, but Inter would win the title if it's just Inter and Napoli. So it's a very interesting. So for us, actually, if we are going to be tied on points with you, then it's better that Milan is there with us. Guys, we got a lot of people joining us. Make sure you are smashing that like button, guys. I don't see enough likes. I want you guys to put in the likes. And Anthony is becoming an Uncle Sharma fanboy, saying Sharma's Twitter is funny like yours too, Dom. Yeah, Uncle Sharma's Twitter is actually one of the best on the platform. He's got Nutmeg of the Week, and I don't know where you get all those compilations, man, but they're amazing. So
yeah, seeing some of my people coming in from my channel as well. Shout outs to everyone. I think it's Cloudshine, Froggy in the house, a couple of other guys. Thank you for coming through.
Yeah, welcome Inter fans. I want to see your comments as well. Do not be shy.
Yeah, get the comments in, boys.
Let me see. Cloudshine is saying, "Shine in the house." Welcome.
Make sure you subscribe, guys.
Make sure you support both channels, guys. This is what I'm saying with Osimhen creating chances for himself. You've got a situation here where you've got Skriniar and I think it has Brozovic pretty close to him, and he has to make space for himself. goes to the right. Andanovic, great save. What did you think of Andanovic's performance today, my man? I mean, shaky against Milan, but today,
Yeah, no, he didn't. I mean, yeah, there wasn't too much to do in the end. Like, you guys were on top of us, but apart from these like near, a lot of these shots that came were like, these very close angle shots where, it was going to be, if it's going to sneak in, it's going to be at the near post. So he did what he needed to do, some good near post saves. And then the Zielinski one, that one he was beaten. And the penalty, he almost got to the penalty as well. So yeah, he was good today, Handanovic, fair play. And he was good on the ball as well. No giveaways.
yeah, I think Andanovic plays always really well against Napoli, and today I
Yeah.
think he was decisive in Inter's win. I think this was not an easy save to make.
No. But
Low
on Di
on,
Lorenzo, he almost did his usual thing where he
on
didn't move.
yeah, yeah. Interesting comment by Eduardo here,
Hey,
saying
Eduardo, my boy.
Inter fans were expecting to lose points this month. Our hopes were to finish 1-2 points behind whoever was first. So we're really happy with the tie. And if Milan win against whoever they
Samp.
play, yeah, Samp, then they're gonna leapfrog Inter for the time being. Even though you do, when are you playing your game against Bologna? When are we gonna finally have?
Bro, they still haven't announced it, bro. They still haven't. We've been waiting for ages.
Unbelievable how we're getting to the end of the Serie A season and they still haven't sorted these things out. I think it's
Yeah.
obviously because Inter are still in the Coppa Italia, they're still in the Champions League,
Well,
and
that's the
I
thing.
think
Like, if we go further in the Coppa Italia, further in the Champions League, then there's even less space for like the game to be played in.
yeah, I just hope that whatever happens, they play that game before the last 3 games of the season. It would be a real shame if there's the last game for Napoli and Inter still have two games to play. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
And
we
then
need
like
to go
Bologna
into
have
the
like
end.
nothing to play for, like usually
Yeah.
happens in Serie A.
TT saying Cheeto didn't get a chance to shoot on goal. He only needed one. Yeah, he didn't get a touch of the ball. He didn't get a touch of the ball. Sal is saying, Dom, please talk about Elmas slowing up, killing 2 counters. We will talk about Elmas. Okay, so I didn't actually put this into the slides, but I do have a picture where Elmas, I don't know why I didn't put this, but I do have a picture where Elmas is running and there's a counterattack for Napoli and Anguissa and Osimhen are there with him. And then he decides to cut back. But actually, when you look at the still images, you can see that the pass for Anguissa and Osimhen just wasn't there. So I think he actually made the right call. So I know it's annoying because he like technically slowed down and all that, but guys, the pass wasn't there. Inter as well were recovering. It wasn't like a 3 against 1. It was
Yeah,
literally
that's
like
true. I know which
us.
one you mean exactly.
It was like us three, and Inter had 5 players running as well. So like
Then he would
it's
have
not.
just been forcing it.
Yeah. So
But I think he
uh,
didn't have a great impact into the game in
no,
general, though,
and
Elma.
the player ratings will show that. I thought Dumfries annihilated Mairo Rui today. Again, Mairo Rui was maybe responsible for putting Koulibaly under pressure in Inter's first goal. And then look at this run by Dumfries, completely outpaces Rui. Look how much ground he's made up. He's 3
Yeah, this is
meters
the one I was
ahead.
talking about earlier,
Look at
where
that. Look at that.
Dumfries ends up being our only striker in the box in this one because look at Dzeko, he's trying to catch up to the play. He can't.
So luckily, Dzeko hasn't got the speed because otherwise Koulibaly would have to think about which guy he has to mark.
Yeah.
Instead, Dzeko can't keep up. And look how far away Dzeko is, which is obviously, if this was
How,
Correa.
how did he get that far behind? He was like almost level with Koulibaly. Oh, God's sake.
So it's actually pretty funny. But I mean, if this was Correa or maybe Lautaro, then we would have been in serious trouble. But luckily, Koulibaly could forget about Dzeko.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Dumfries outpaced Mairo Rui, and this ball would have been an easy tap in for Dumfries if it wasn't for Koulibaly stretching a leg. And it goes to show how great Koulibaly is, but also how vulnerable we are with Mairo Rui. And Dumfries as well shows. Well, Dumfries and Perisic just shows how potent Inter are on the sides. They've just got 2 rockets down there.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Machines.
It's incredible. It's really Inter's lethal weapon, the wings. And
we just need one in the middle. We just need one up front. Like we just need someone that makes those runs in behind.
yeah. I wonder where Barella and stuff were and all this, because Barella, I think, has the
Not even in
he's
the
got
picture.
maybe the he's got the legs to go and support the
Yeah.
attack, but
He
he's
was. I
nowhere.
think Barella was the worst on the pitch today. I really didn't like Barella today. He was
We'll
my
go to
flop.
the player ratings. We'll go to the
Okay.
play. I'll ask you who your tops and
Yeah.
flops are. But so this was the chance that Elmas could have converted. 20 minutes to go. Insigne picks out a really good ball. I mean, we know Insigne can do these things, and
Well, it was
then
the De Vrij. It was a mistake from De Vrij though. Again, like it was like he almost stopped it and then went on to Osimhen.
what is that De Vrij on
Yeah,
the
that's De
ground?
Vrij. He's the one. He tried to intercept it and yeah.
So I think De Vrij had a nightmare of a game as well. I think he had
Yeah.
a worse game than Barella, to be honest.
Yeah. I
Um,
think overall, yeah. I'm just
but
trying to be edgy. I like to trigger the Inter fan with my Barella takes.
ID Bates is asking for you to get an award for being such a good Inter fan.
Thank you,
Cloud
ID.
Shine is saying we could have won though. So in terms of you could have won, I think actually Napoli had more chances during the game to win the match. But so we had more chances, and I think the stats say that as well. But yes, you definitely had your chances as well where you could have won it. So it could have gone either. I think if Inter won, I don't think it would have been necessarily a fair result. I think this was
No.
a game that I think overall a tie is the fair result. I even
Yeah.
think
But
if
if you guys
Napoli,
won, I wouldn't have been mad. I would have been like, yeah, they deserve it.
it would have been a little more like, okay, fair enough. I mean, I still think a draw is the fair result. But if
Yeah.
Napoli
But
won, it would
that
have been like,
first
okay,
half was like,
yeah.
yeah, you
But if
deserve it.
Inter managed to somehow win this, I would have felt very hard done by that. Very,
Yeah.
very, very hard done by that. Seunara Adediran is saying Napoli doesn't look like they have the guts for the Scudetto. The mentality crumbled in the second half. Yeah, I said this at the start of the live. I thought we had a really good mentality when we started the game, but then when we conceded, we didn't recover from that. However, much better than the start of the season where we conceded 3 goals from you. Because in that game as well, we were winning, then we conceded a goal, but then we conceded another 2. So we really crumbled at the San Siro. At least now we kept it to that 1 goal.
Yeah, I agree.
Inter fans, saying that Dumfries should have scored there.
Oh, I mean, that was a very tight angle, the Dumfries shot. I would have been surprised but I mean, they ended up for a throw in, so you should have done better than that. But yeah, I don't think it was a great chance, that one.
So my fans here are asking where you're from. So yeah, tell them your life story, bro.
Well, I live in Leicester, so I'm from the UK, but originally, so my family's from India. I grew up in Italy until I was 13, and I've been living here in the UK, Leicester, now for like 14, 15 years. So yeah, that's me.
Hope that answers your question, Maximus. So yeah, Milan. Were you living in Milan?
No, it was like Modena.
Yeah, nice. So Daniel Bowen, he went to the game saying, no matter what, Inter always needed to lose points somewhere, even if Napoli won. A tie isn't a bad result. Loss would have been a disaster. So yeah, so Daniel is very true with this one. So obviously, even if Napoli won this game, it was still going to be in Inter's hands, the title race. What this means is just that they need to mess up one more time compared to if we had won it. Guys, there's 12, 13 games to go. Maybe that happens. Maybe that doesn't. We'll see. We'll see what life throws at us. So this is what I'm saying. This is a very similar situation to what Dzeko had with the goalkeeper closing the angle down, the ball's bouncing. It's kind of an angle shot. Maybe this is actually easier than what Dzeko had. You can see how there's more goal for Elmas to aim at, and Andanovic with a brilliant save makes himself big, puts his body on the line, and fair play to Andanovic with the performance today. Mauro Rui.
Oh yeah,
I just want to highlight this pass by Mauro Rui, which was setting up in. This was I was really frustrated here because we had possession for 2 or 3 minutes in this situation, and I thought, okay, right, we're regaining control of the game, and then Mauro Rui screws it up for us, and then Inter get the ball for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I felt today. Do you not feel like every time each team had the possession, it was like for a long time? Like
Yeah.
they both kind of like hogged the ball for like a while.
Yeah, so after this scenario here, where Insigne takes the shot, and then we didn't know whether it was a handball or not by Skriniar, I think the ball didn't leave the pitch for 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we
Alexis was
only
waiting to come
found
back
out
for
on the
ages.
85th minute if this was a
Yeah.
penalty or not. Like the amount of like effective play time was very high today. So it's a good game to watch.
Yeah, a lot of the comments on my channel when I just live streamed, they were complaining that we were back passing so much or keeping the ball in very sterile way. But in the end, I think Napoli did the same thing. We were just happy to like inviting the other team to kind of press a little bit, but none of
Mm.
the two teams kind of. You guys did it in the first half, but in the second half, there wasn't that much pressing going on.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with that, man. But yeah, I'm very surprised that just how Inter throughout the whole season is able to play at this level. Like from day one, they've been very, very physical in all their games, pressing, playing like, just the whole 90 minutes. There's never a moment where you think that Inter are just like settling down. Maybe they had a bit of a moment today, but it lasted 20 minutes and then they were right back on it. So yeah, just a really good team physically. I want to highlight this moment here where Insigne and Osimhen were up against, okay, 5 Inter players, maybe 4 if you consider that Barella's a bit too far away, and how Osimhen didn't make the right run. So Osimhen went like that.
Mm-hmm.
He went, let's say, he crossed over Insigne's future path, whereas actually what he needed to do was make a little shimmy and then go to the right, and that would have opened up the field for Osimhen. Insigne was just waiting for Osimhen to do that so that he could slide the ball in between that gap. You can imagine Insigne putting a ball right in between that gap. Instead, Osimhen, look at how he's not like he took himself out of the equation here.
Yeah, yeah,
He's going towards the corner flag, not looking at the goal. He's not giving Insigne any extra space. He's not giving Insigne any extra options because what's Insigne going to do? Pass it to the corner flag. So he messed up, and Insigne at that point was forced into the shot, and that's where I think Osimhen needs to improve compared to maybe someone like Vlahovic. Vlahovic is very good at picking out the right movements. Osimhen, there's still some areas of improvement. But yeah, I mean, this one we thought that maybe there could be a penalty, but actually it's not. Skriniar had his hands very close to his body, and guys,
yeah.
this is not a penalty. I don't want any Napoli fans to say this is a penalty. Um, and then we have Loverboy that
Yeah,
comes onto the field. So I knew that this guy was going to be up to no good today with that haircut. I
yeah.
just,
You just
I
knew.
just, I just knew. Like, I was like, please don't give Unas the ball. Please don't give Unas the ball. Like, this guy is just not serious. The guy's just not serious. I'm sorry, but 94th minute, 0.54 seconds.
Yeah,
There's 5 seconds left in the game. You've got Juan Jesus, Rahmani, Di Lorenzo, Koulibaly, everyone and their dog in the box, right? And what does Loverboy decide to do? Loverboy decides to pass it to Lobotka, and then Lobotka's like, dude, like, why are you passing me the ball? So he needs time to process this and pass it to Mairarui. Mairarui is like, well, don't give me the ball, and then he pass it back to Lobotka, and Lobotka tries to pass it into or cross it into the box, but at that point, everyone's just like, what's going
that
on?
was awful. Yeah, because I thought,
It
as I
was
said to you earlier,
awful,
Perisic was a stupid foul. So I was like, oh, they're gonna punish us from this. They're gonna punish us. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe not.
just awful, awful, awful. I honestly, I was so frustrated. I thought I would have to cancel my live after this moment. Honestly, I was just, how can you do this? SJ saying totally agree. Osimhen still has a lot to learn and improve. Thankfully, he is young. Mairo Rui is coming back to haunt us. He puts us under so much pressure. The Spezia and Empoli games could come back to those ones are the key games in Napoli season so far. But anyways, Inter hold on, and it ends up 1-1. These are my player ratings. I think Lobotka, Insigne, and Osimhen did pretty well. I think Koulibaly had an unreal game, man of the match, even though his pass was bad and it led to Inter's goal. But whatever, there's several. Uh, Everyone had a few bad passes. You can't really say that's Koulibaly's fault. Rahmani did well. Ospina did well whenever he could, but I think we really suffered Perisic and Dumfries like so much, and that's why I'm giving Mairui and Di Lorenzo bad scores. I'm also giving Zielinski a bad score because while he did get that first 10 minutes right, the pass towards Osimhen for the penalty, he hit the post. After that, he became inexistent. And then Elmas came on, didn't really do much. He missed a really good opportunity. It could have been offside, or a handball, but still missed it. Mertens didn't get a touch of the ball. Anguissa, he did pretty well. Juan Jesus as well. And Unas, Mr. Loverboy, gets a 5, mainly for his haircut, to be honest.
Yeah.
So let me go to Inter. What do you think are Inter's top 3 and worst 3 players?
I guess I think Perisic has to be there, as you showed, his runs in behind and his crossing. He almost created a few goals for us, running all match as well. Dzeko, obviously, for the vital goal. I mean, I think it definitely wasn't Dzeko's best performance at all. But in the end, the goal
he was there when he needed to be there.
Yeah. And then
Dumfries.
I think Dumfries made too many technical mistakes to be in the top 3. I think it has to be either Di Marco or Handanovic. I think he'll put Handanovic in there.
Handanovic, yeah.
Handanovic,
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, Dumfries was good. As you said, he killed Mario, but he made a lot of technical mistakes. Sometimes I call him brick freeze because he's got a bit of a brick touch, but he needs to improve a little bit on that. Midfield today, Brozovic is the only savable one from the midfield. I was not happy with Hakan or Barella, either of those two.
They were inexistent today, Barella and Hakan especially. I don't remember him doing anything worth noting down.
Yeah, invisible today.
Yeah, and what did you think of? Do you think Sanchez should have come on a bit earlier? Do you think anything with Inter subs? And we talked about Napoli, how we didn't make subs quickly enough. What about Inter? Were you happy with the way that Spalletti with Inzaghi's assistant made the subs?
Well, I mean, I saw, as you were saying, because there was that moment where the ball didn't go out for ages because Sanchez was ready to come on at the 70th minute, I think, around. He was ready to come on, and then the ball didn't go out till about the 78th minute or something. So I think, Sanchez usually gets those 20 minutes. So I think he should have come on a bit earlier, but in the end, the ball didn't go out. But it's the same. We're having this issue about this Lautaro-Dzeko partnership is just not working. I feel like Sanchez should have started, but at the same time, Sanchez usually makes a better impact as a substitute, so that still makes sense. And then apart from that, we don't really, because Correa's still out, Caicedo's not full up to speed yet, so we didn't really have much choice. Vidal came on right at the end, so I can't really fault too much Inzaghi on the substitute. D'Ambrosio one made sense, so I think he played his cards right in the end.
Yeah, in the end, and he was right to play Di Marco. We were talking about it before the game. Should he play D'Ambrosio? Should he play Di Marco? Very good call for him to play Di Marco, and I think that's primarily because he was hoping to get those long balls over the top of Napoli's defense, put Perisic in a one-on-one situation against Di Lorenzo with balls over the top. Obviously, Di Marco having a left foot, he can do that. If it was D'Ambrosio, he would have had to shift the ball over to his right foot, and then you would have lost a bit of time before he did the pass. So I think very good strategy by Inter.
He was the best out of the back 3. I think De Vrij, as you said, flop of the match for me for Inter. He recovered in the second half. He started to win a few more duels against Osimhen in the second half, but overall he had a disaster today. And Skriniar as well, he seemed shaky. I can't remember which commentator or some analyst on Serie in Italy said it, but it was Osimhen, he causes that panic in your mind, even if you're not directly marking Osimhen, but because he presses so hard and the way he's so explosive, you just in the back of your mind, it causes you panic. So you could see that Skriniar, some of his clearances were like, miscued, and some of his passing was pretty bad. So I think just the Osimhen presence causes that chaos.
I did think Skriniar still had a really good game though. He's so I love Skriniar because he's so like he doesn't seem like he's very good on the ball. He's a bit clumsy at
Yeah, he's
times.
not
Like
very
he's a bit
aesthetically
like
pleasing.
he's just so stiff and like it's
Yeah.
kind of weird when he runs, but still he makes it work. And
Yeah.
he was really good because De Vrij didn't. I don't think he did very well today. So Skriniar had to step up, and he blocked Osimhen quite a few times. Interesting comment by Payman. I want him to elaborate on this, but first of all, thank you for the 449 donation. Thanks for supporting the channel, guys. It means a lot to me. So let's read the comments. It says, have you heard about the rumors of the Qataris buying Napoli? Altani tweeted about Napoli 2 days ago, and through my job, I'm picking up rumors. So I did see the tweet by Altani that he was he basically was like, come on, Napoli, let's get it, and he's this really rich Qatari guy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting how you picked that up. Anyways, so we'll continue with all the Napoli stuff in this live. If you're an Inter fan, then please stay on board if you want to hear stuff about Napoli. But I'm gonna let Uncle Sharma go. It's been a pleasure, man, having you here. Guys, go check out his channel. It's linked in the description. He's honestly really, really good at what he does. I'm not just saying it because he's a friend. He's really, really good at what he does. Great content, more consistent than me, I would say. So if you like Serie A in general, then go ahead and subscribe to Uncle Sharma's channel.
Thank you, Dom, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone, for the very kind comments. And yeah, please check out my channel because, I think it's always good to get views from other teams as well. Like I always watch Dom's stuff just to get understanding what's going on in Napoli. So you can get that from me if you're interested in Inter. I don't think Inter and Napoli fans have a particularly, difficult relationship. We don't have any hatred for each other. So it's not like I'm covering Juventus.
I mean, even if you were, as long as the person on the other side is like a cool dude and he's respectful, and that's the sort of community that I've tried to build here. There's no like hating on other teams. We're just analyzing football, and it's really good to have you here. I'm gonna let you go, man. The show goes on, but see you, Uncle Sharma. He's not actually my uncle.
Enjoy
guys.
the point, everyone. Forza Inter.
So, guys, that was the analysis with Uncle Sharma. I hope you guys like that bit of the analysis. Payman, I want to get back to your comment because it's super interesting. You need to explain what rumors you are hearing. What kind of rumors, man? Is this something that's really do you think there's some truth in there? If you can explain, elaborate, I would really appreciate that. Barella had a 0 out of 10 today. Yeah, Barella had a very poor game today. Very, very poor. Blue Line is saying it's really strange. Mertens, although he played without having the ball, he really was needed more time to play. Yeah, Mertens didn't get any touch of the ball. It's just he came on with 10 minutes to go, and it's not because of him. It's really because of at that point, Inter were dominating. They were pushing. Inter, I think, had a really strong second half, putting balls into the box, putting pressure on Napoli, and we just didn't have the chance to do anything with that. I hope you guys do subscribe to Sharma's channel, guys. Seriously, he's a top content creator. So make sure you support other Serie A content creators. Feel so bad for Cheeto. The midfield didn't feel like playing with him at all. Anguissa and Lobotka. I think the midfield struggled. I think the midfield struggled in general with the fact that Inter were dominating at that point. I don't think anyone is necessarily trying to play against Cheeto or against Osimhen or they're all a team. It's just sometimes the other team is doing better than us, but I do agree Mertens should have come on a lot sooner. 60 in the chat, but only 55 likes. Come on, guys. If you are the odd one out, if you didn't like this video, But I must admit, guys, I looked at the analytics of my YouTube channel, guys. It's amazing the support that you guys have. This channel has a 99.9% like to dislike ratio. 78% of the people that watch this stuff is subscribed. There's only 20%, only 1 in 5 people are not subscribed. Those are amazing stats, guys, way above the norm. So thank you for all the support that you guys give to this channel. I really do appreciate it, guys. But one thing that we need to do is to have a look at the next games for Napoli. We've got Barcelona, then Cagliari, then Barcelona again, Lazio, Milan. Lazio, Milan, obviously, are two big ones, especially the Milan game. Cagliari, we should win. Like, we need to go and face Lazio and Milan having won against Cagliari. It's super, super important for Napoli. If we don't get 3 points against Cagliari, we might as well not bother with the whole Milan game. There is Barcelona up next. I am going to be making a video, hopefully, with an editor of a Spanish newspaper. So stay tuned for that. Probably the video is going to come on Tuesday or Wednesday. I really hope that that goes through. And I want to give you guys a preview into that game because Barcelona is not a team that plays in the Serie A. So maybe a lot of you guys don't know it. Maybe a lot of you guys are actually interested in Barcelona because whilst they have been struggling recently, they bought a lot of new players. So is that going to be the same team as the start of the season, which was struggling? They also changed managers. There's a lot to talk about with Barcelona, and it's a huge game. And we'll go more in detail in midweek on that one. So I'm just going to keep my comments on that game until then. Jesse is saying 100% scared of the Milan game. They're fired up. Yeah, Milan is maybe the team that's playing the best football in Italy at the moment. Leao is really, really, really enjoying himself. So, yeah, that's always a bit of a worry when you've got a player in such form. It's incredible. It's incredible the type of form that he's been in. Man, been up since 3 a.m. Not a terrible result. Important we didn't let Inter get out of reach. Anything is possible. Forza Napoli, says Jason. So Jason, first time I see you comment, so welcome to Napoli Talk. But it's incredible that you've been up since 3 a.m. I don't know what part of the world you're in. Probably Australia, New Zealand, something like that. So shout out to everyone following from all over the world, guys. I know you guys are super international. I think TT is also following maybe from New Zealand. If we lose one more time, we're out, he says. I agree with that. I agree. I think from now, it's just a matter of, I'm not saying win every game, but we definitely have to win against Milan. And we can only afford one draw, I think. If we are serious about the Scudetto, I think we need to go on a run like the one that we had at the start of the season, because I can't see Inter losing more than 2 games. So we really have to limit it to just one draw at most. Not to mention Giroud, 4 goals in 2 games. Yeah, 100%. Giroud's on form. They've just got it clicking. Somehow they've got it clicking. These are players that are they're not superstars, but the way that Milan plays is almost as if they've got, like, they don't have, I don't think, a top player apart from Maignan and Teo Hernandez. Everyone else is very good, but they've got 2 world-class players. But the way that the team is playing is like they're all world-class at the moment. Leao is super in form. Sunshine Coast, Australia, says Jason. Yeah. So Jason will be out there surfing in a few hours, living the life, forgetting about this result. Anthony Navarro saying, I don't care what anyone says, Giroud is not good. I know. That's what I'm saying. He's not even in the, if you consider the top 10 strikers in Serie A, he wouldn't be in the conversation. But the way that he's playing now in terms of his form, you would say he's top 5 or top 3 just because he's banging them goals in, So that's something that we've got to watch out for. Antonio with a very good comment. Why didn't Petagna play today? 100% agree with you, man. Petagna is the guy that everything he touches turns to gold. And for some reason, he didn't get a single minute today, which is disappointing. But I don't think today would have been his day. I think we were really struggling to connect the defense to attack. We were in the second half, so I think it was better to bring on Mertens to try to link the midfield into this. But he didn't. That didn't work, so it would have been useless to put on Petagna anyways. Right, guys, I have been speaking for a very, very long time, but there's one more thing left to do, and that is Spalletti's press conference. So I'm just going to read out to you guys what Spalletti has said. Guys, make sure you also are supporting me on Twitter and Instagram, guys. So on Instagram, it's official Napoli Talk. On Twitter, it's just Napoli Talk, by the way. So do make sure that you are following them. I will go and read out what Spalletti said in the press conference. So they ask him, does this game show Napoli's intentions for the Scudetto? And Spalletti replies, why are you trying to use me for newspaper headlines? I'm not going to create certain expectations. We are just the team that we went out today with. We try to play very, very light with the ball against a very good Inter. We are ambitious, but I'm not falling into your tricks. I'm not going to use the word Scudetto so that you guys can make headlines. Osimhen had a very good game. He has a lot of power. He has explosivity. But that's not the only thing that he's good at. We need to be using him in more than one way. It's obvious that sometimes we're not in the conditions to fully support him, and we need to improve on that. But he's definitely a player who will be a champion in the future. They asked him, did Napoli mess anything up today? And he said, we're a team that's much lighter than them. If we go and play against them in a very physical way, it's not going to work. But other than that, we didn't mess up much else. They know how to control the field and fill all the gaps. They are Inter and champions of Italy, and that's what they showed today, that they are the stronger team. So Spalletti is, saying that Inter is a stronger team, and physically they outplayed Napoli. We have to accept what the field, what the result said on the field. We need to learn from these games. It was a very good game in general, but there's some things that we needed to do a bit better. Regarding Barcelona, we need to handle this in the right way. They're beautiful games, and we need to play, with the strongest team that we have, and we need to keep up the talent for 90 minutes. We need to show our strength and our desire to do well. We are, looking forward to this game. Koulibaly also had a few things to say, as well as Di Lorenzo. Let's read out their quotes. So Di Lorenzo said, we're disappointed because in the first half we could have scored a few more goals. In the second half, Inter really showed their quality. We take this point and then we think about tomorrow, the next game tomorrow. I'm good physically, even though, I had that little injury scare. Perisic is very strong. He's in incredible form at the moment. We had to be very careful with him. There's obviously we're upset about the goal that we conceded, but Dzeko is a monster in these sort of spaces and in these situations. So yeah, Koulibaly then says that we need to continue to think about the Scudetto and believe in it because we have done a really good job in the past, and it's only because of this goal that we're not taking the 3 points home. So we need to keep pursuing what we've worked on so far. Obviously, this week was very unique for Koulibaly. He was in Senegal, and today he's now playing a really nice game, Napoli-Inter. He's happy, and he's very happy with the way that the Senegalese people of Napoli went to say hi to him at the airport, and they all cheered him on. And honestly, it was very wholesome what Koulibaly did throughout the AFCON. Very, very wholesome. Brozovic is suspended for the next game. That's huge. Inter are going to miss him. SJ is saying, anyway else hugely worried about Mario Rui versus Adama Traore. Anyone else worried about Mario Rui versus Adama Traore in the Barca game? Yeah, that is a huge, huge worry. I mean, Dumfries is one thing. Adama Traore is 3 times as physical as Dumfries. So that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a huge problem. What I don't see as much of a... So Inter have... The difference between Barca and Inter is that Inter also have the aerial threat issue. So you've got really strong people in the air like Dzeko that can punish you. And we saw how he played up against Mario Rui. And, we went in difficulty at times. With Barcelona, it's not going to be like that as much. There's not going to be as many crosses, as much aerial threat. What we do have to worry is people making runs in between us and behind us and between us. That's going to be tricky. So they play a little differently. Titi is asking me Juan Jesus or Giovanni Di Lorenzo versus Traore. So I don't want to see Di Lorenzo on the left and Malquit on the right. I don't think that's the right thing to do, also because Malquit hasn't played in a long time. So we need to keep Di Lorenzo on the right. I would like to see Gulam on the left. We've put him in the Europa League list. Why not give him a go? He's shown to us that he can play. He's played in January and December a few games. I don't understand why we only let Gulam play when Mario Rui is injured. I cannot understand what's going on with Gulam. I think he would have been useful in today's game, especially in the second half against Dumfries. But yeah. With Barcelona defense, I'm scared of Osimhen and Insigne, says Armandinho25. So maybe Armandinho is a Barcelona fan and he is scared of Osimhen and Insigne. Yeah, Barcelona's defense is maybe their weak point. They have a very good midfield, and they've upgraded their attack with Aubameyang, Fernan Torres, Traore, but the defense remains a little shaky. They've conceded a lot of goals this season, and I do think that actually Osimhen could do something against them. So let's see. Hopefully they give him more space than what usually teams give Napoli in the Serie A. Jason is saying, I want to see Malquit. Let's see. We're never going to win Scudetto being comfortable with draws at this stage, says TT. Yeah, well, I disagree. I think if you consider the season, I think where we would have lost the Scudetto is Empoli and Spezia. I don't think you can say you lose a Scudetto by drawing against a direct rival who is also the champion of Italy at that point in time. Like, no one loses a Scudetto because they drew against Inter. Obviously, it helps if you win, but there's games, Sassuolo, Spezia, Empoli, even the Atalanta game that we lost. Those are the games that we dropped points that make the difference. You can still win the Scudetto if you draw or even lose both games against Inter. I don't think that's necessarily the problem. I think it's almost expected that you're not going to get 6 points out of Inter, Obviously, it was unlucky that we didn't win the first game against Inter, the one at the San Siro, but I don't think it's a bad result to get a draw here. Obviously, it would have been better to win than we should have maybe, but it's not really what makes or breaks. Which front four would you play against Barca? I think we're forced to play with Elmas, Insigne, Zielinski, and Osimhen, and keep Mertens on the bench. With Lozano being out, Politano we potentially have out. We only have Mertens, Petagna, and Unas on the bench, and I can't see Unas starting against Barcelona. I think Elmas deserves to start instead of Unas. Whether Mertens starts ahead of Zielinski, maybe that's a thing. Yeah, actually, maybe that could be a thing. Mertens has already scored against Barcelona. Zielinski didn't play too well today, so why not? Maybe we start with Mertens. Yeah, I can see Mertens, Osimhen. I think maybe we actually should be doing now. We need to go out there and attack and get an away goal, because away goals are super important. And exactly, why not go all in? That's the attitude I want against Barcelona. Is it home or away? We play Barcelona at the Camp Nou, and then the return leg is in Naples. Politano will be back, in my opinion. Also, Mertens and Insigne are both wicked in Europe every time. Yeah, exactly. So I do think actually Mertens could very well play. I want to see Mertens. He will assist Osimhen. Yep. Hopefully, guys. Hopefully. Emmanuel Ores is saying, I think Osimhen will punish Barca's defense with his physicality. Yeah, I do think his speed more than his physicality. I think if he can put himself alongside Piqué, for example, he can really outpace him and cause trouble towards that Barcelona defense. Guys, we have been speaking for a very long time. There's still so many of you connected, 56 of you connected. Thank you for still being connected, for smashing that like button, subscribing if you are new to the channel. That always helps. And for having put your reactions in this chat. It's been a pleasure having you guys here to talk about Inter. Special shout out to all the Inter fans that joined as well through Uncle Sharma. You're always welcome as long as you're respectful, which you have been. So, shout out to you guys as well. And obviously to all the Napoli fans, always tuning in. But guys, I will leave it at that. As I said, I am making a video before the Barcelona game, so I want to save my comments about Barcelona for that. But do make an actual comment on the video regarding your thoughts on Barcelona so that I can read them and then I can address them in the Barcelona video. If you leave it in the chat, then I might not be able to recover it. In fact, I don't think I'll be able to recover the chat after this video stops. So do leave an actual comment as we are about to finish the live. So guys, could have been better today, but still, we live for another day. We're still only 1 point behind Inter, and let's see how this title goes. Still very much in it, guys. But have a good night. Have a great Saturday or Sunday morning if you are watching this in New Zealand or Southeast Asia or Australia or tomorrow. And as always, Forza Napoli sempre.